After a tremendous week of college football action, we have all the insights that you need forthcoming on the 15th edition of the local Lowdown podcast, which starts right now. Hello and welcome to the 15th edition of the local Lowdown podcast. My name is Danny Shanholzer, and I'm with Zach Bischoff behind the glass,
Hello,
producing the
hello,
show.
hello.
And as we mentioned at the start, we will be taking you through all the week four action of the college football slate. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot to delve into. Um, so I guess to start off here, let's talk about the Pitt game. You know, I am a Pitt fan,
Talk about
and
disjointed performances, huh?
exactly, Zach. Exactly. There's no. I was trying to think of a better way to kind of transition into that, and I want to be a little bit more energetic, and I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. Because
Pitt? No,
a
we
lot
won't.
of I'm gonna try though because
I need to just put myself on the screen, but I'm the producer today. So,
exactly, no, exactly, Zach. And thank you again for producing this operation, man. And I'm looking forward to delving into some football here.
you're welcome.
But without further ado, here, um, let's talk about Pitt football. Um, and
Let's.
Pitt football right now is a bleak outlook right now. To be honest, I mean, Pitt is sitting at 1-3 after a bad loss to North Carolina, 41-24 last Saturday night in prime time at Acrisure Stadium. And the Panthers are a team that really has not gotten everything to click this season. That's not for our listeners from Pittsburgh. That's not a revelation, right? We've kind of known that after week one, where we beat Wofford, an FCS team, we really have not looked good, and every team obviously is going to be a new challenge. And North Carolina was certainly that, coming in at 3-0 and being ranked number 17 in the country. They were certainly not a walk in the park, and they showed just how dominant they really were. And for me, I want to kind of give everybody a kind of full picture of the um, Pitt performances, from the defense to the offense. But with any um, football team, it really starts and ends with the quarterback. And Phil Dracovic only threw the ball 15 times in Saturday's performance against North Carolina, and he was 11 for 15 with 109 yards, which you know is definitely a modest total. But the Panthers, as Jacobic's stat line proves, were not confident in throwing the ball. I think that was clear from the beginning. They really relied on Rodney Hammond and Daniel Carter to carry the load offensively, and they did a heck of a job. Honestly, I mean, Rodney Hammond scored on our first drive. I believe that they used Daniel Carter in goal line, and he scored their second touchdown, I think. And so I think overall the rushing game was a positive, for sure. The fact that we were able to kind of establish that against a team like North Carolina, and the fact that we were kind of able to get able to punch in touchdowns. The few times that we got into the red zone was a positive, but um, the Panthers as a whole really um, struggled, especially in the second half. I said to myself, with 7:36 left in the second half, when it was 14-14, and North Carolina scored their first touchdown, I was worried about how it was going to go. North Carolina is a great is a really talented team. I mean, they're 4-0 now because of the win against Pitt, and Drake May has the potential to be a top 10 pick in the Drake May is definitely a talent, a top 10 talent for sure. Um, and and if any of our listeners did not see the offhand throw that he had to one of his receivers, with 106 remaining in the half, I mean that was really something special. But as I kind of zoom out, I kind of realize that really none of any of the facets of what makes Pitt is really coming to fruition here. I mean, our defense was nowhere near as physical as it needed to be. Elijah Hussey, I believe he had two touchdowns and an interception, one being a punt return. I mean, he really, really had a great day, and credit to him because he's a great player, from the transfer portal. So kudos to North Carolina and their staff for that. But I cannot I've started this podcast off with a pretty somber tone. I like to think that I try to always look at sports with a cup half full mentality. But the reality.
He is a very energetic guy, to be fair.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, man. No, and you know, it um it pains me to watch Pitt and Pittsburgh teams really kind of struggle, but that they we certainly are, and it sitting at 1-3, right? There's not a ton of positives to take from this year as a whole, especially because we've only beaten Wofford, which is a FCS team that won 3 games last year. So that's nothing to write home about, and I can't help but I know we still have a lot of football to be played, but it doesn't get easier from here for the Pitt Panthers, which is hard to kind of be honest about that with ourselves, and look ourselves in the mirror with that, because the reality of the situation is, we played Virginia Tech, um, which they are also a 1-3 team. So hopefully we can get backtrack on there. And I think we usually play Virginia Tech pretty tough. But after that, we still have to play the likes of Florida State, who is ranked number 5 in the country right now, and we can. I mean, they had an absolute thriller of a game against Clemson that we can get into a little bit later, and we still have to play Notre Dame, along with Duke has really been a program on the rise for a couple of seasons here. They've been really, and I think this is the first year that they're kind of realizing their potential. But it certainly does not get easier for the Panthers from here on out. The biggest thing for me that's been apparent on both sides of the ball really has just been the lack of physicality. We're just we're not matching the intensity of the likes of teams like North Carolina and Cincinnati. I mean, all those teams, and WVU too. I mean, all 3 losses can be pinned to we lost the battle in the trenches. Our defense gave up too many chunk plays, and I think that as a Pitt fan, I cannot right now when we're in the depths of really, losing a lot, and it could go from bad to worse here. I cannot help but think about what the future of Narduzzi is going to be because I think Pat Narduzzi had said the right things and has had right ideas and has a generally good philosophy in terms of the Pitt program, but he has not produced. I mean, we were Pitt fans were spoiled with the Kenny Pickett ACC championship year. I'll be the first to say that. But um, after that, these last couple of years, we struggled. I think we really have got to look at okay, what is the future of Pitt going to be? What we really need to do, and I know I'm kind of getting more global here in terms of instead of talking specifically about the North Carolina game, but I mean I think that it's warranted after a 1-3 start. Is that we really got to get kind of program players back in our program here. I mean, I think that that Pitt is a program that attracts um, attracts recruits because it is in the ACC. But we got to kind of get back to that mentality of we are a powerhouse in the ACC in both football and basketball, and right now we're not there. So I really think we are the way things are going right now. It could be a very very long season. I think that the best thing that we can do right now in terms of what our offense can do is get Phil Dracovic more easy throws. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Hopefully in against Virginia Tech, and I think that we're in a point where we just have to be balanced and have to create third and manageable. I mean, we've gotten behind the sticks so much in our young season, and I think that's contributed to Djokovic's mishaps as of late. But I think another thing. I
I
mean,
have a question.
obviously, what's that, Zach?
I have a question.
Yeah,
With Djokovic only throwing the ball, what was it, 15 times? Was there some kind of underlying injury that I was not aware of because I did not watch a second of the game? That's why Danny is running the show today. I did not watch a single second of the college action this past week. But was there some kind of injury going on with Djokovic that I didn't see?
I don't believe so, Zach. And I could have.
Say the first part of that again.
I don't believe so, Zach. And I think that let's see here. I want to double check because there could have been a something at the end of the half that I'm forgetting. Um, but the biggest thing that Pitt's got to do is just make sure they stay on schedule. And I think Virginia Tech is definitely a good game to have coming up here because it's kind of both struggling teams, and like I said, we usually play Virginia Tech pretty tough. But I am worried about what this season could look like, and this is spoken from a place of privilege as a Pittsburgh sports fan. I've not had to endure many years of losing seasons as certain fan bases have, and it is
Well, with the
not
Pirates we
fun.
have.
What's that?
With the Pirates we have.
Zach.
You and I
That's a good
both.
point. I was talking kind of in football there. That is a you're right, man. But I mean, even the Pirates were relevant, 7-8 years ago, which I know isn't recent, but it's definitely more recent than
Hey,
some
hey,
teams.
they were still relevant, in April when they started 20 and 8. Look what they
That
ended up now.
Zach, and I kind of am hoping for right. The like you mentioned there, Zach. You're producing and you're making great points on the show there, man. But I am hoping for a kind of shift in that positive direction. how the Pirates started 20-8, right? And everybody was ready to say, plan the parade, Pittsburgh's going to World Series. Um, and I'm kind of looking for hopefully that to happen to Pitt to some extent. The season is still young and there's still time to figure things out. I mean, we've only played one conference game, so there definitely is time. But from what I'm seeing right now, I'm just it's challenging to watch Pitt struggle this much, Zach. I could you know come up with so many different things that could help the process, and maybe play calling could be better, and the way that we be more physical. The bottom line is we have just got to make sure that we're not making and putting ourselves in bad situations, because I think that's been the number one overall issue for Pip. For our non-Pit listeners, I'm sorry. I kind of went on. I could sit and talk about kind of Pitt's dilemmas for a long time. But I kind of want to pivot now to kind of the week 4 recap as a whole. And I know I've been I've been a little bit um uh, I've been a little bit not clear and jumping all over the place here. So I appreciate you sticking with me. But real quick, I'll just go through some scores here, and I think the thing that we learned in terms of college football is that any team can look great one week and look really bad the next week. That really rang true for Colorado. For our listeners that are Colorado fans, I am sorry, because that was a whole new definition of a blowout. Oregon, ranked number 9, beat Colorado 42-6 on Saturday, and really kind of um, blew them out in every facet of the game, obviously. And I think that just shows how hard it is to win football games there, because Shador Sanders had been unstoppable for the first 3 weeks of the season, and now on offense put 6 points. I think I know a lot of people are still really high on Colorado, and I think a lot is going to depend on if Travis Hunter is going to be able to be available for the USC game. I know his status is a little bit up in the air, but it does not get easier for Colorado, considering that they're ranked number 8. Real quick, I'll just touch on two other matchups here before we kind of hopefully get you a good global sense of college football, and then we can wrap it up here. But I really appreciate everybody sticking with us here, and for sure. But another and this pains me to talk about, but I think it is deserved after what Penn State did to Iowa. 31-0 for Penn State against number 22 Iowa, I believe. Penn State is undefeated, and they are going into Northwestern this week, and then Columbus, Ohio, in a few weeks to play Ohio State. And I really think, as much as it pains me to say it, that Penn State is a national championship contender. They look very, very good. Drew Aller has been tremendous for them. Only a sophomore as a quarterback, and their offense just looks tremendous. I mean, it really does, and it hurts me as a Pitt fan to say that, but I think that Penn State is doing what Pitt should do, and they're really focusing on program players. They're really James Franklin. Say what you will about him as a coach, but this season in the young 2023 campaign, he has been really really good. So I am looking at Penn State as a very very possible national championship contender. Um, with uh, with that, here we are going to wrap up the college football recap show. There, I it is a certainly a great time of year, and I think that one of the makes what makes this college football recap podcast, super fun to do, and I'm hopeful that we can keep doing this. Is the fact that there's so many great games going on in all regions of the United States, and so I just I know that we focused on the Pennsylvania teams today, but I truly mean this for our listeners. If there's anybody that you'd like for us to kind of delve into more, um, feel free to let us know. Send us some feedback. I know that we all we want to do is make sure that we can serve as many people as possible through our talking about sports. Hopefully, giving you guys some insight, and just really appreciate everybody for listening to this. Zach, buddy, appreciate you producing, man. I mean, dude, it is what I'm realizing as I'm doing this right now, Zach, is that it is a hard job to do a solo show, and I know you've done that a few times there. So dude, kudos to you, man, and always appreciate you producing.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, yeah, for sure. Appreciate everybody for watching, listening, and just really love doing this. And I this was my first solo show that I've done. So really good experience. But yeah, just really thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Appreciate it. And with that, I'm Danny Shanwitzer, Zach Bischoff behind the glass, saying so long.